following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Oh, yeah. Welcome into Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Glad to have you guys with us here on this Wednesday edition. It's a Wild and Wacky Wednesday, and boy, do we have a Wild and Wacky show for you today. Got a lot to get to. We've got NASCAR. We've got a lot of Braves highlights. We've got Heather Williams, who will come your way at 2:15 to talk some NASCAR and probably a little incident at Science Hill Elizabethton. We've got that video for you too. Not that anybody needs to see it. We will also be keeping up with Nolensville's Little League as they are about to toss out the first pitch. So that's exciting. And we will talk about South Carolina, the Gamecocks, as we continue our SEC football previews. We've got Terry Heffner, 2 Fs, which means no relation to the other guy. So there you go. That's what we got going on today. Before we get started, we have to ask, how's Mo?
Mo's good. It's Wednesday, you know. It's yeah, it's good. It's good.
And we've got high school football 2 nights in a row again. Woohoo.
I think we're going to have high school football back-to-back nights throughout September. I don't think we've got any in October. But, so it's double dose.
Double dose of high school football across the state. Thank you to the TLSAA for mandating that. Of course, understand.
We didn't have anything else to do.
Well, you're right. I mean, let's be honest here. Anyway, we do have a great show. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Got some great guests, and we got a lot to get into. So what I suggest we do, Mo, is just go ahead and hop in, and we'll start off with today's rundown.
In Tuesday volleyball action, Murfreesboro Central defeated Cannon County 3-0. It was also Eagleville 3, Cascade 0. Harpeth with a 3-0 win over East Hickman. Loretto 3-0 over Mount Pleasant. It was Oakland in 5 games over Riverdale 3-2. Summertown 3, Hampshire 0. Summit 3, Spring Hill 0. And University School of Nashville 3, Columbia Academy 0.
In girls soccer action, Oakland 3, Centennial 2, Stewart's Creek down Columbia Central 8-0. It was Fairview 9, Creekwood 3, Cullioca 9-0 winners over Hickman County. It was Davidson Academy 4, Greenbrier 3, Franklin Road Academy a 6-0 winner over DCA, and Gallatin shut out Cookeville 4-0.
Hume Fog 9, Glencliff 2. It was Dixon County 9, Glencliff 0. Liberty Creek with a 1-0 win over Lebanon. Marshall County 10, Loretto 1. Valor Collegiate blanked Martin Luther King 4-0. It was Cheatham County 5, McEwen 1. Murfreesboro Central with a 6-0 win over Warren County. Portland 2, Good Pasture 0. And Zion Christian defeated Richland 6-1.
It's a big win for the Lady Eagles there. Tullahoma 4-2 over Riverdale. Rockville 5-3 over Wilson Central. It was Station Camp 4-1 winners over Siegel. Blackman and Smyrna 1-1 draw. West Creek 8-0 over Springfield. Spring Hill 9, Columbia Academy 0. You see how Springfield and Spring Hill might get you mixed up, even if you're voting in an AP poll or something. Franklin 2-1 winners over Sycamore 2, Nashville Christian 0. Providence Christian 2-1 winners over University School of Nashville, and Watertown a 7-2 winner over MTCS.
In pro baseball action on Tuesday night, it was the Cubs 2, the Cardinals 0. And, that was a day game, actually, because they played a doubleheader. In the nightcap, it was the Cardinals 13, the Cubs 3. Philadelphia edged Cincinnati.
I took that personally.
Exactly. Philadelphia edged Cincinnati 7-6. It was the Dodgers with a 10-1 win over the Brewers, and the Braves put themselves in position for a 3-game sweep at Pittsburgh with a 6-1 win last night.
And Tuesday's schedule, Little League World Series happening, like I said, momentarily. Nolensville and Honolulu will play at 2 p.m. That's on ESPN if you are looking for it. Volleyball today, high school Brentwood Academy at 5:15 hosting Stewart's Creek at 6 o'clock. Eagleville travels to Forest, and Page hosts Siegel.
Also today, Nolensville plays at Brentwood in girls soccer. That's a 7 o'clock start. In pro baseball action, the Braves 13, Pittsburgh nothing in the top of the 8th, and so they're looking at finish. Yeah. So
Jeez.
yeah. So they're looking at finishing off that sweep. Yeah, they've got the bases loaded again. Yeah. Cincinnati at Philadelphia. That's a 6:05 start. 7:05 Cardinals at Wrigley Field against the Cubs. At 8, it's the Brewers at LA against the Dodgers. And in minor league baseball, the Sounds continue their series at Durham. And I'm trying to see what they did yesterday.
Yeah, I can't get it to pull up earlier, so I have no idea.
Hang on.
And I still can't get it to pull up. So.
They won 10-7 yesterday.
I'm glad you were able to get it up. I was unable to.
They won 10-7 yesterday, and they continue that series at 5:35 today over at the DBAP, Durham Bulls Athletic Park, I think. Something like that.
That's today's rundown. All right, Mo.
14-0. Runners at first and second, 2 outs in the top of the 8th.
There you go.
So,
our top story today comes from the opening tip. NCAA women's basketball announces their finals will air on ABC.
First time ever. Yeah.
Network television, baby.
Network television. Good for them. Good for ABC for recognizing that the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is worthy of that. Oh, whoa. Stop. Sorry. The article that I pulled up had a video with it. And so,
we didn't hear it. So that's.
Oh, good. So that game is set for Sunday night, April 2nd, Sunday afternoon, April 2nd. It'll be a 2 o'clock start Central at American Airlines Arena in Dallas. And the Final Four semifinals will be on Friday night, and those will air on ESPN. So scheduling the Division I Women's Basketball Championship on ABC has been a goal for quite some time in our ongoing efforts to maximize the exposure of women's sports in collaboration with the NCAA, said ABC's president of programming and original content. So that's good. I think that's great, really.
And here's the thing. They're actually doing it just a little bit better than the men by having the finals on Sunday. I mean, the only thing going on that day is baseball, and Sunday night baseball is that night. I mean, unless you're watching baseball that day, it will be by itself in that time slot.
It should pretty well be the only game in town right there. So I mean, that's a great time slot. It's great for the exposure of the women's game, and it's well deserved, I think. So,
well, I mean, putting women's basketball into a position for people to find it and pay attention to it is a positive. I mean, look, I know the WNBA has been around for a long time, and they've tried some different things, but finding it on Prime and Facebook and Twitter is just not ideal. I mean, Prime Video, it usually pops up and I can watch it, but this is something that folks are just going to flip the channel and they're going to see. And honestly, when it's the highest level of women's basketball outside of obviously the professional game, it's worth watching. It really is. It's never not good.
That level of women's college basketball is going to be it's the championship. It's the best 2 teams in the country, theoretically. So
it's still a tournament.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. And tournament things happen, but it should be very compelling viewing on April 2nd. So looking forward to that.
I am too. I'm very much looking forward to it. Also looking forward to the remainder of this show, Mo. It's going to be a good one. I'll tell you, when I started looking at things for today's show, and I found Rich Rodriguez had a bit of a press conference yesterday saying Stephen F. Austin was spying on his team.
What?
So we'll get to we
oh
got
goodness. Okay.
We got a little video from the press conference here, and it's pretty funny, man. I'm not gonna lie. So that's coming up later. Obviously, more college football. The SEC gearing up for a potential 9-game schedule, and it looks like it's going to happen, most. So looking forward to seeing what that's going to bring. But yeah, we've got Heather Williams coming up here in just a moment. So please stick around on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mo Patton, Chris Yao, we'll be back right after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, 3-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice. Welcome back into Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao alongside Mo Patton, coming to you here on this Wednesday edition. Oh, yeah. Got a little new music there. A little new music. Wasn't expecting it to be that loud like that, but it's all good. It's all good. Anyway, let's see here. There we go. Mo, we're scheduled to have Heather here momentarily. She did confirm that she got the email and that she was good. So let's hope that everything is okay on her end. Okay. But that being said, since we do not have her right now, we can look into a couple of things. Number one, it appears that there's Heather. Never mind. Oh. Awesome. Even better.
Yeah, I'm sure we'd rather talk to Heather than anything you were getting ready to come up with.
I was just going to go to segment 3 and just and see what happened.
No, this is way better.
It will be. In fact, Heather Williams joins us now from WCYB TV. Heather, what's going on?
Sorry. So funny story. I destroyed my laptop.
Destroyed it?
Well, I didn't destroy it. The battery exploded on it.
Oh.
So, yeah. And so when I also have a brand new cell phone. So when I tried to log on, I had to play 20 questions to get it to let me log on. So I apologize for being 5 minutes late, but I should have taken that into consideration.
Well, stuff happens. I want to know about this exploding battery.
Yeah, hold on.
I was on my way out to Charlotte yesterday to do an interview with Austin Dillon, and I was riding in the back seat of a minivan with Bristol Motor Speedway folks and editing my weekly NASCAR segment, and the battery just went pop. And I posted a picture on my
I saw that.
Yeah. And so then it was toast. So it's currently sitting in our IT person's office, but it's almost fixed, but it wasn't quite ready for this. So I probably look terrible because it's like weird angles and stuff, but
they can fix that.
This was just the battery was the only thing that was damaged. Everything else is fine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, then we'll take that.
Good. Okay. All right. So you were headed over to Charlotte. How far is that for y'all?
It's about, depending on where we're going in Charlotte, it's 3 hours, 3.5 hours, depending on what part of Charlotte or whatever. We went out to Welcome, North Carolina, which is where Richard Childress Racing is located, and that was about 3.5 hours from here. So okay. Not too bad.
Yeah, could be worse. Yeah. Okay. So were you able to get your interviews, just not edit them on your laptop?
Well, actually, I was able to edit because when I plugged the laptop in, it worked fine. I just had to have an outlet to do so. But it's now being repaired. It's close to being done.
That is insane.
Yeah. It's the kind of stuff that only happens to me. I also had a microphone battery. I had a microphone battery explode while it was hooked up to, it caught fire while it was hooked to my belt when I was trying to do sports one day.
Oh, good Lord. Wow.
So.
Okay. So the ever dangerous Heather Williams joining us here on Main Street Sports today. Chris, I'm going to regather and let you.
Well, so here's the thing. I want to go to, before we get to NASCAR, I want to go to Heather's story at WCYB.com, where, there was a bit of an incident on, there it is, on Friday night, where a Science Hill punt, I guess, coverer, pretty well nearly decapitated this poor kid from Elizabeth. And as you see it right there, a helmet comes flying off after he makes the fair catch call. And Heather, your story on WCYB TV has a pretty solid description of what exactly happened. A fight broke out, obviously, right after that. What has What is well, yeah. I mean, what is next for or what's happening so far?
Well, so basically, I mean, the kid was immediately ejected for targeting, and two kids that were ejected from the game otherwise were two kids that came off the bench. They didn't eject
Right.
the other players that were in the game for pushing and shoving, just the two that came off, one from each team that came off the bench. It's my understanding that Cade Russell, the kid that got hit, had a busted lip and possibly a broken nose. I did not hear an update as to whether or not it's actually broken, but otherwise it's fine. I guess he had a mild concussion too, but otherwise it's okay and is going to be able to probably be back there. Elizabeth in the bye week this week, so he has a decent chance of being back for their next game, but probably wouldn't miss more than one other game. Beyond that, he's remarkably, when you look at that hit, he's okay. The kid from Science Hill, he will serve a 1-game suspension, so he will be out this coming week. Elizabeth had said that they were going to send the video to the TSSAA for them to review to see if there would be possibly more time added to a suspension. But as of yesterday afternoon, that hadn't happened. And Science Hill head coach Stacey Carter said that he talked to the TSSAA, and they said unless there was video evidence sent up to them, that they were going to stick with the standard 1-game suspension on that. So that's the latest as far as I know. Nobody has sent that video up to the TSSAA, so the kid suspended for 1 game.
So is that a TSSAA suspension then? That's a 1-game suspension that comes with the ejection, all right?
Yeah, it's a 1-game suspension that comes with the ejection for targeting.
And Science Hill coach Stacey Carter feels like that's all that play warrants.
Yes, when I talked to Stacey, he said that this is a good kid. He does not believe that was on purpose. He does not believe that the kid was headhunting. He believes.
Then what was he doing?
Stacey said that the kid made a late call for a fair catch and that he could not slow
down. The
down.
ball wasn't there.
That's the thing. That's the problem. Is the ball wasn't there.
I report.
The ball.
Saying, but that's Stacey's standpoint that the kid just couldn't get slowed down in time because the fair catch call was late. But even if the kid didn't call, even if Cade Russell didn't call a fair catch, he was there too early. So I mean, I don't agree necessarily with Coach Carter's assessment, but that is his.
But
assessment.
That's his story, and he's sticking to it.
Correct.
I guarantee you, if the tables had been turned, he'd want more than 1 game.
Oh, sure. I mean, and when you read the comments from fans, I mean, you can tell which school they're rooting for or not for based on their comments. I mean, I will say that people have been overly aggressive towards the kid from Science Hill, making some threats and some things that are just disgusting from adults. But that doesn't excuse the kid's behavior either. And I feel like more adults should be being adult instead of pointing fingers and making threats to 17-year-old kids. And this probably could be solved more civilly. But the other thing is that there's not much the TSSAA can do unless Science Hill sends the video in and makes a formal complaint, which, like I said,
unless Elizabeth sends it in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, unless Elizabeth sent it in. And like I said, I was out of the office yesterday in Charlotte, but last I had heard they had not done that yet.
All righty then. Well, now we know.
I thought there was 1 or 2 ways you could have gone, because I also thought you might ask me about the ETSU coach who's now either the 3rd or the 4th coach that they're paying to not work there.
Wasn't going there today, but we absolutely could, because it's just a follow-up to something we've already reported on. So there's that.
Right.
Goodness.
Yeah.
So Simon Harris is Harris is still being paid, or will still be paid.
So he got a $150,000 lump sum payment to be paid either this month or next, which is an equivalent to 1 year's salary. So
Don't go away mad. Just go away, right?
I mean, I don't understand it just from the logistical standpoint of he was about to be fired for cause. So I don't understand how you let someone resign when you were going to fire them for cause and then pay them.
Yeah, that's Well,
I mean, I have a theory. I think they're buying his silence. I mean, I think that they are, paying him to not speak about this and to cooperate in the possible NCAA investigation that may be forthcoming. But still, it looks really, really bad on paper to the people that support and are involved in that university.
and the next coach is going to be like, well, no matter what happens, I'm getting paid, so I'll go.
Well,
to
I mean,
sure.
They're still paying the men's basketball coach who quit a year and a half ago. He's still got a little less than a year left to be paid through March of 2023. The men's basketball coach who quote unquote quit is being fired, and then also the athletic director who quote unquote resigned is being paid. And then there's a little bit of discrepancy as to whether or not the previous women's basketball coach, Brittany Ezell, is still being paid. It's my understanding that she only has a 1-year extension on her contract, so that's done. They're done paying her. But there are some reports out there, and I haven't FOIA'd her contract, so I don't know the answer to that. But there are some reports that she was being paid for 2 years. So if that's true, she's also still being paid.
Man. Now, they named a successor to Harris, right?
Yes, they did. Coach Mox, and I cannot remember her first name, but she was
Brenda.
Yes, the former head coach at UNC Asheville, who stepped down a little over a year ago because her husband was going to graduate school at Virginia Tech, and so she moved out there for him to do his postgraduate studies. He's now finished back in coaching, so they actually just kind of lucked out a coach of that caliber who wasn't working currently, and they've hired.
Now, is she interim or is she?
No, she's the head coach. She's
okay.
Yeah, cool. She's the head coach.
That's a pretty good get, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, she took Asheville to the NCAA tournament and really kind of turned that program around from a struggling program to a fairly competitive program that won, 15 to 20 games a year, 21 games a year. And like I said, made an NCAA tournament appearance, which for that program is pretty darn good.
Yeah. Speaking with Heather Williams here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. And typically on Wednesdays, we talk NASCAR. So we probably should try to work a little in, Chris.
Yeah, well, break out the brooms for Kyle Larson. He sweeps the Watkins Glen weekend, and pretty big weekend for him until his teammate apparently ain't real happy with him.
Yeah,
heard some rumors.
Yeah, I don't know that Chase Elliott's got the right to be upset per se. They raced pretty clean the whole race, but when you're coming to the checkered flag, I feel like all bets are off, right? Everybody has the right to race for the win. He shouldn't expect anyone, even his teammate, to roll over and just let him win a race, right? I don't think that that's something that's fair per se. And certainly Kyle Larson, when he's been raced that way, understands and is gracious and is not upset. Now, it hasn't been by his teammate, but he's certainly been raced by other drivers that way. And he has certainly been, gracious and understands, all bets are off when you're going to checkered flag. So, I kind of felt bad for Kyle at the end of that race because I felt like he couldn't enjoy it because he already knew that Chase was going to be angry with him. And so I kind of felt bad for him, but not too bad. I mean, the guy's won like a gazillion races, so I mean, he'll have another one to celebrate soon, I'm sure.
No question there. But yeah, it's always interesting when you get into the road courses because you never know what's going to happen. But pretty impressive racing for everybody there. I thought it was a really good weekend and fairly outside of that last moment there. Not a whole lot of drama outside of the racing. So that was
I mean,
good.
There was some drama in the sense of like strategy and who was going to be on what pit cycle and that kind of stuff. But from like a racing on the surface, it certainly wasn't like Indy where they were wrecking each other every 5 seconds and
right.
And that
like the last road course race.
right.
And there wasn't anybody taking shortcuts or
driving through the grass or any of those kind of things. No, it was certainly more subtle from that point, more typical road course where the strategy and the pit strategy specifically was what was going on.
Well, we go to Daytona, final race before the playoffs start.
Yeah,
always fun.
And there was one, and what I think is great about the NASCAR playoffs, this is exactly what everybody wanted, right? 15 of the 16 spots are locked up. They're locked in. There is one spot left in the playoffs, and there are probably 10 to 15 drivers that could win it, and it's not even a far-fetched thing. You've got Ryan Blaney, who currently has the last playoff spot on points. He's won at Daytona. He's very good at super speedways. He absolutely has a chance to win this weekend. You have Martin Truex Jr., who is a decent super speedway racer, but hasn't had a lot of luck, so he doesn't really have the finishes, but he wants it obviously bad. Both those guys are in the top 5 of points and could miss the playoffs. Then you have guys that are trying to upset the whole thing. Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Michael McDowell, Chris Buescher, Eric Jones, Ty Dillon, Austin Dillon, all of those guys, I just rattled off 7 names. All of those guys have legitimate, even Corey LaJoie, legitimate chances to win on the super speedway based on their performance, and especially this year. And none of them are in the top 20 of points, except for I think Bubba and maybe Buescher and McDowell. So 3 of them. The rest of them were all at the top 20 of points. So that could really shake things up. So, I mean, drama at a super speedway, it's going to be crazy.
That's what I look forward to the most. That's one of the reasons that I love that this Daytona race is not in the playoffs, because again, it is a super speedway and anybody can win at any given time on a super speedway, just because you never know what's going to happen. So this being the last race before the playoffs, it really does give almost anybody a chance to get in. So I'm looking forward to it. And Daytona it's still Daytona. I mean, even if it's not the 500, it's still a massive race. It's a place where you want to win, just because you feel like getting a win at any time in Daytona is a huge mark huge feather in your cap if you're a driver.
And I think one of the great things that NASCAR did in the last couple of years with the playoff structure is the races that they use for their cutoffs. So the cutoff for the regular season is Daytona, huge wild card, anyone can win. It creates tons of drama. The cutoff for the first round is Bristol. Again, wild card, crazy things can happen. It's a race where you can move people around, bump them out of the way, creates drama. Cutoff for the second round is the Roval, a road course. Crazy stuff can happen, drama. And then the final round is Martinsville, kind of like Bristol. So they've really taken those races that already had the most drama on the schedule and then added to it by making them cutoff races. I mean, it was really smart, and it's going to be really fun for the fans that's the way that the playoffs are stacked up.
I'm looking forward to Sunday for sure.
Saturday
night. It's a Saturday night race. I was about to say, no, that's Saturday. Anyway, it's just so habit to say
yeah,
Sunday.
I know. I keep having to remind myself it's Saturday too.
Before we let you go, Joey Logano, long-term extension. That's pretty huge.
Yeah, and Penske, it looks like it's set for quite some time, because they have Austin Cindric, who's a rookie who won the Daytona 500, has run really well and consistently for a rookie in a car that's, the flagship car of Penske, with a lot of pressure on him. His dad works for Penske, and he's performed. Like, he's stepped up for a rookie. He's had a pretty good rookie season, and in contention to make it, 2 or 3 rounds deep into the playoffs for sure. And if the cards fall right for him, could make it into the championship 4. And then, of course, they just signed Ryan Blaney last week and then signed Logano this week. So they're set. Like, they're locked, they're loaded, and they've got a great future. And then they've got young Harrison Burton in their satellite team, who's also a rookie in the 21. So, things look really, really bright for the future of Penske, because they've got 4 talented. And I mean, Logano's the oldest of the group, and he's, in his early 30s. I mean, they're set for a long time.
No. Heather, we can't let you leave without asking you who've you got at Daytona this weekend?
Oh gosh, I mean that's like asking which gumball is going to follow the gumball machine. I don't know. I mean, I would say that if you were going to play the odds are definitely in the favor of Bubba Wallace because of how consistently he runs on the super speedways. I think of the last 5 super speedways, he's finished first or second in 4 of them. So if you don't count Atlanta, but even if you count Atlanta, I think he's been in the top 5 so that adds, 7 races. I think he's been in the top 5 in 5 of those races. So he is incredibly consistent and maybe one of the best, if not the best, super speedway drivers in the garage right now. So if you want to play the odds, Bubba is definitely the favorite as far as consistency and record goes. And he's run really well other than the road course last week, which he's a terrible road course driver. So that's not a big surprise, but he's been running really well over the last month. So it's so hard to pick at Daytona, but if you made me put my own money down, I would probably put it on Bubba Wallace.
That'd be a pretty interesting win for his first 2 Cup Series victories to be at Daytona and at Talladega. Is that right?
Yeah, but that just goes to back up the point that I made that he's a really good super speedway driver. I mean, he's just really good at the big tracks. He sees the draft well. He maneuvers his way through the draft. He's got fast cars. He's able, to control his car and miss a lot of the big wrecks. And there's only a handful of drivers that are truly down that level. I think his owner, Denny Hamlin, is another guy that's really good in that regard of seeming to always be in the right place at the right time. There are other guys that are really good on the super speedway, but that level of skill, there's only a handful. And he also enjoys it, which makes a huge difference. I think that's part of the reason why he's so good. He likes the super speedway racing. So it would shake things up for sure to have him in there. But I mean, there's just so many guys that could win this weekend. I mean, I don't think anybody saw Austin Cindric winning the Daytona 500, but at the end of the race, there he was, and he won. So, I mean, don't be surprised if Cole Custer wins or Eric Almirola. I mean, there's just so many guys that could win this week.
That's exactly right. That's what I love about Daytona. So excited. I was with you, though. I think Bubba is the favorite. The way that he's been driving over the last few weeks outside of last week, I mean, the last, 6 or 7 races, he's finished top 10 or top 15. So he's really come on here of late. So
and Daytona's his track. All
and Daytona is his track.
I've been at Daytona.
Absolutely. So I'm with you. The 23 it is.
And that would make Maurice very happy.
I would not have a problem with that. Yeah, I would like to, especially if it goes the distance, because there's been so much about Talladega was a shortened race and that kind of thing. And so did he really win a race? Well, yeah. So let's go, Bubba.
Though, nobody ever asked that question about Chase Elliott last year at COTA. Can't quite put my finger on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's well, the argument is that it's the only way Bubba can win a race. I guess Chase having.
I haven't heard anyone make that comment about Chris Buescher at Pocono. If we want to go that route, I mean, there's a lot, or Justin Haley at Daytona 2 or 3 years ago when he won his only race. It's funny how it's only one guy.
Well, there's the arguments that I've heard are ridiculous, but they're
out there.
They're consistent. I'll tell you that it's consistent.
It is consistent.
The arguments are consistent. Let's put it that way. Ridiculous or not. But
Heather Williams of WCYB TV in Bristol joining us today, as she does mostly every Wednesday, here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Heather, thank you so much for your NASCAR and your other insights.
Fun. I'll do it anytime, guys.
All righty.
We're going to come back. When we do, we've got a little SEC football to talk about for the future SEC football. So stick around here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
Hi, this is Melissa Hoisington, Regional Crisis Director from Volunteer Behavioral Health. Disasters can affect everything in your life, including your emotional health. Help is available during these uncertain times. The Tennessee Recovery Project is a free, supportive resource for adults and children who have experienced the effects of natural or human-caused disasters. Specialists are available for counseling by phone or in person. For free, confidential service, please call 833-954-2424. The hotline is open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Move forward with the help from the Tennessee Recovery Project.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yow alongside Mo Patton, and it is a fantastic hump day coming at you. Not so fantastic for Nolensville. In the first inning, they are trailing 5-0 after one, and yeah, that's hasn't been great. Hasn't been great for our friends from the East.
They got 5 more innings to work, and
it's true.
Worst case scenario, this would be their first loss if this holds up. So they're not in the worst of positions, but certainly 5-0 early isn't where you want to be
against a team that's outscored their opponents 29-1 so far in the tournament. So, yeah. The positive is, and this is what I talked with Randy Hutt this morning on Mornings on Main Street, and he basically said, look, we've been through adversity and this team really hasn't. We've had to play in some tight games. They've not had to play in any. So if we put some pressure on them at some point, we'll be in good shape. So
time to put some pressure on them.
Now they got to put some pressure on them. Got runners on first and second with 1 out in the top of the second. So that's a positive. Okay. Nah. The SEC, according to an article from Chris Lowe of ESPN, is leaning toward a 9-game conference schedule. And essentially, I'm not sure who gave this quote, but the quote is in the headline: not only adds value for TV, but protects season ticket sales. It was just this is an unattributed quote. One SEC athletic director told ESPN.
Oh, goodness. Sorry.
So I mean, 9 games only makes sense to me because, again, that it's that 3, what was it 3-3-3 or 3-6 model that, with the pods.
Yeah, it's a 3-6 model. Looking at the article here, administrators and coaches from multiple schools in the league said the feeling now is that the SEC will ultimately land at 9 conference games with a 3-6 format when the new scheduling model is announced. So what is that? Your 3 pod games and
yeah, your three every year opponents and then 6 rotating.
Okay. So you're going to have 4 team pods, basically, right? Or 4
not
4
necessarily.
team group.
We'd look through that in the ACC, and the ACC doesn't have pods. They just have everybody plays 3 teams every year, but those 3 teams don't necessarily play each other.
Ooh.
So Yeah, it's
I don't know
not.
if I'm smart enough to figure this out.
Yeah, it's really, really difficult. Essentially, what they're saying is Tennessee and Alabama may play each other every year, and Tennessee and Georgia may play each other every year, but Alabama and Georgia may not play each other every year. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. Thank you.
So it's a little weird. And
Okay,
I
so
think,
you're going to establish 3 permanent opponents for each team,
for
and then
everybody.
everybody else will rotate.
Correct.
Okay. All right, I can get that.
And I think
wasn't
that's a
that hard.
positive. Well,
Yeah.
what the difference being that in pods you would everybody would play everybody,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not necessarily what's going to happen.
So
And I
then
think
if
that's
you
a better.
established Georgia, Alabama, and Vanderbilt as every year opponents for Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
and then you establish Tennessee, Kentucky, and Ole Miss as every year opponents for Vanderbilt, and then go like
Correct.
that throughout.
Correct. It's interesting. I think it's a positive. It's the best way to go. 9 games is the best way to go, and you almost have to with 16 teams.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to get to every stadium if you don't go to a 9-game schedule. And look, just like you said, season ticket sales have been on the decline forever because nobody cares about Alabama playing Utah Tech the week before the Iron Bowl. Nobody cares. The Mercer games are killing me. Now, granted, Mercer needs that income. I get that. But playing, only forcing someone to play and one other Power 5 team, that means you've got 3 of those money games a year. 3 instead of just 2.
Right.
Plenty. Because the Big Ten, who has a 9-game schedule, also requires that teams play one other Power 5 school.
And I think that should be a requirement for a Power 5 school, that you're not playing 9 conference games and then 3 cupcakes, 3 guaranteed games or whatever. You just in terms of, maintaining your college football playoff rankings or strength of schedule or whatever it is, I think that's a good thing. And I think it's good for college football that you may get some of those intersectional type Power 5 ball games, even as everybody's trying to get in the same conference or whatever. So,
and the best part about it is you don't have to have divisions. The best 2 teams at the end of the year play.
Yeah. And now I guess there's a greater possibility that the best 2 teams may have played each other during the regular season, doing it like this as opposed to divisions, but I guess that's okay.
Well, that doesn't, Auburn and Georgia can play each other in the SEC championship game. Alabama and Florida's played each other twice in the same season. 1999. Because I remember that when they went to the Sugar Bowl, it was twice as sweet or something. Anyway, or you take 4, and I would love to see the SEC go to a 14 playoff. There would be, because look, the SEC was the first conference to do the championship game, right? They've been the trendsetters. They were the first ones to go to 16 teams. They've always been the trendsetters. Why not? At this point, say, we're going to a 14 playoff and the winner is in.
Because when the SEC goes to a 14 playoff for the conference championship, then I think, what is it, player safety or whatever the phrase is around the concern of players goes out the window. Yeah. Because you're talking 12 regular season games and then a 2-team playoff there, and then a 2-game college football playoff. You're up to what? 16 games?
They're playing 16 already, aren't they? 15.
15. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 16 may be a little much, but
I don't know.
I tell you what, a 4-game SEC playoff would. You don't think you could sell that?
Oh man, talk about money. It would be it would be awesome to watch. I would enjoy it, but I don't think it's going to happen either. But I do see some sort of something unique coming from the SEC. They've always had something different. So
student athlete welfare. That's what I was.
There you
for.
go.
Yeah,
sure.
That would come to me.
That sounds like a winner to me. But you're right. It's 100% that. That's what's going to keep it from happening. There's no
if
question
it doesn't happen, that will be why. Yeah,
correct. Correct. All right. Well, we are in agreement. 9 teams is ideal. 9 games is ideal, and looking forward to seeing what the SEC comes up with here very, very soon. But until then, we will keep playing what we got. Sounds like a good idea.
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to do it right after this really short break here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint.
The high school football season is here, and nobody handles Friday nights better than Main Street Media. Here's Zach Womble with details.
That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps. Is, we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area, and we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's we're gonna show that off. We're gonna showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So, whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're going to have you covered from 6 to 11.
Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Mo, welcome back in as Hawaii has gone back-to-back, a 2-run home run and then a solo shot, making it 8-0 right now in the bottom of the second inning, and another single to left field. So it's, man, tough day. Those kids from Nolensville will certainly bounce back, and they'll get the.
It's one game.
So obviously, if this game holds as is, they'll get the winner of Texas and Indiana. So
Indiana, who they just beat the other day, 5-2.
Correct. So, in extra innings. Or an extra inning.
In one extra inning.
One extra inning. But the Atlanta Braves got a big win today, 14-2, as the Braves
It should have been 14-0. Kirby Yates should never touch the mound again.
Come on, man. He just got up. He just got back. Got to give him some time. These are the type of games where he needs to get some work in.
Well, he got some work in, and the first pitch he threw, Kevin Newman drove it over the left field fence for a solo homer, and Pittsburgh scored another one. But, I mean, you're right. It's just that he's struggled every time he's gone out, and, for everything that Snitker has or has not done with the bullpen, at least they have recognized that he's not ready for high leverage situations yet. So,
correct.
Yeah, a 14 run game, you figure, okay, how much harm can he do? Well, 1 inning, 2 earned runs. So, but they got the win.
Certainly doesn't help the old ERA, but William Contreras started it off with that 2-run jack right there, and then a little Dansby Swanson poke into right field, and as you said, Wash's hand up is simply a suggestion to Ronald Acuna Jr.
You might want to stop, Ronnie. You might not.
However you're feeling.
Yeah, it's on you. I mean,
and then Austin Riley with a base hit into left field just continues the inning that should have been over. The inning should have never gotten to where.
Oh man, the Pittsburgh first baseman botched to play with 2 outs, and then the floodgates opened. Yeah,
opened.
You almost felt sorry for him. You certainly felt sorry for Mitch Keller, the Pittsburgh starter, who wore all of that. Fortunately, they were all unearned, but they're still runs.
Yeah, and the Braves just piled on after that. 2 good pitches. I mean, Dansby poked one that was, inside fastball that was really good pitch, and then Riley right here just reaches out and taps it over the first baseman's head into right field. And
just
what are you going to do? I mean, this is the kind of game that the New York Mets win, right? So.
But at the same time, this is the kind of game that Atlanta has to win. We've talked about this, and Mets fans have talked about this as well. But I mean, they beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. And when you're trying to make up ground, you got to do that. And so with this win, and with the Mets being off after their 2-game series against the Yankees, Braves are within a game and a half.
They are within a game and a half, and that last base hit from Ronald Acuna Jr. was the last highlight that I was able to get before 2 o'clock, just before Matt Olson hit one into the Allegheny.
Literally, yes. That one's in the river. Yeah. Goodness gracious. He was hitless through the first 2 games of this series, Matt Olson was. And he took that personally because he went 3 for 5 with a pair of runs scored and the grand slam for 4 ribs. So big day for Matt.
It was, in fact, a big day. Last night, also a solid win. Braves, here's the thing. The Braves have won 2 day games in a row after struggling in day games almost all season. And then, of course, this weekend is Sunday Night Baseball, so no day games.
Oh yeah,
that's how it works for the.
Not only are there no day games, but we get to listen to A-Rod Sunday night.
Is he not on that? I thought he was.
Oh, that's right. He's on that special thing.
Yeah, we don't have to listen to A-Rod anymore. This is good. I know Mendoza's on.
And she's not bad.
No, she's great. I enjoy Mendoza. So,
and she's certainly not A-Rod. So.
There's that. Last night, a few little highlights here. Great job from Max Fried after this home run to left field. Barely gets over the fence. If that wall had been rounded off, Mo, that's not a home run. That's an out. But it isn't. So there it is. Travis d'Arnaud with a little home run of his own into left field in that same spot just about, and the Braves were able to get the win, so that's huge.
Yeah. d'Arnaud, like you said, with the home run last night, Contreras with one today. I think the Braves have 26 home runs from their catchers, which is the most from that position in baseball, so it's not bad.
No question there. All right, Mo, it is 3 o'clock, which means we have to take another break. We've got Teddy in, but I'm not sure he can probably hear us, but I don't think that his devices are connected. So we'll have to try and rectify that situation. But we've got Teddy Heffner, Fox Sports 1400, is going to join us here momentarily as we preview the South Carolina Gamecocks. So we will get there as soon as we can on the other side of a break. So you guys stick around on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our OrthoQuick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731 and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Hi, this is Melissa Hoisington, Regional Crisis Director from Volunteer Behavioral Health. Disasters can affect everything in your life, including your emotional health. Help is available during these uncertain times. The Tennessee Recovery Project is a free, supportive resource for adults and children who have experienced the effects of natural or human-caused disasters. Specialists are available for counseling by phone or in person. For free, confidential service, please call 833-954-2424. The hotline is open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Move forward with the help from the Tennessee Recovery Project.
This is Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. One area I can help with is if you are newly or nearly retired or maybe have changed jobs and have an old 401k account. You may need more information to help you clearly understand your options. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email Eric at rockcastlewealth.com.
Oh, you couldn't hear me. What's up?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
There we go. It's been a second. It's been a second. All right.
Yeah.
We have Teddy in now. We're going to talk about the South Carolina Gamecocks as we continue our preview coverage of the Southeastern Conference football teams across the way. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and just get him in here. Teddy, if you can you hear us? There you go. Can you hear me now? Can you hear us now?
I'm having trouble hearing you guys.
Oh, great. Let's see here. See if I can help you out. All right, let's see. So
You're
Mo,
dealing with a really old guy that's not very good with computers.
we should have. That's. I'll tell you what. If you want to, just let me see here. See if I can grab him. Mo, we may have to just go to break again and see if we can't figure this out.
Okay, do that.
We'll play another quick promo and be right back.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
Other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama. So other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
All right, Mo, we're back. I'm trying to make sure I've done a little bit of working here, but it doesn't appear that Teddy can hear us at all. Again, Teddy, you can't hear us, can you?
Chris, Mo, I'm sorry, can I hear you?
Okay. Tell you what, man, unfortunately there is no other option here to get Teddy in, Mo. So we're gonna have to figure out something else.
Yeah. Okay.
But
that's unfortunate.
And I just don't have anything. I don't have any way to do it. So let me just let him know, and we'll go from there. Until then, we will let you try to tell us a little bit about what's you want to hear something from Rich Rod?
Sure.
I'll let you hear something from Rich Rod. It's hilarious.
True or not, a pretty good source was true that they had a couple staff members at our spring game, which is kind of like that's not really supposed to happen. But no, we're making plans accordingly. You know, if they're over there thinking they have our plays or what have you, or signals or something like that, we've changed things since the spring, so we're aware of it. And then we caught somebody trying to film something the other day. And first, my daughter caught him, Raquel saw him, and then we caught him again, saw him, peering through there with his camera. And I sent the biggest guy in our program, the crew, one of our assistant strength coaches. She's about like 6'7", 350, probably benches like 1,000 pounds or something. Sent him up to bleachers to run him out, and that guy disappeared pretty quick.
So
apparently you were telling me off air that it was thought that it was Stephen F. Austin that had Jacksonville State football practice under surveillance in, basically.
That's what Rich is saying here. That's what Coach Rodriguez.
Now, is that their opener, Stephen F.?
Yes.
Yes. Saturday at 2:30, as a matter of fact. At I can't pronounce it, but somewhere in Texas. So
yeah, it's It's going to be interesting. I was curious when I saw this. I thought, man, one, not sure why it matters. I don't guess. But no, this game is actually in Montgomery. This is
Oh,
this is
okay.
the Classic.
Oh, okay. All right. I was just looking at
Yeah,
this.
Stephen F. Austin is
the
listed as
host?
the home team.
Okay, but it's okay.
Go
All right, well,
figure.
that makes a little bit more sense. Okay. What's funny though is that when I was down at Titans practice, I think the last day I was there on Monday a week ago, there was some concern about someone off in the distance that apparently caught Titans GM John Robinson's attention to the point that they sent someone over to address this individual, and someone alongside one of the practice fields, took some pictures of him with a long lens and that kind of thing. I don't know what came of it, if anything, but it's pretty wild. One, the level of concern that there is around football programs in regard to this type thing, and two, if you're actually doing it, that's kind of
Brazen.
crazy. Brazen. I mean, I was trying to figure out, in the NFL level, I mean, you got to go to some trouble to watch somebody's preseason practice. And Stephen F, again, they're from Texas. They're sending somebody to try to illegally watch a preseason practice before a kickoff classic game, and not even a conference game, right?
Right. So it's something.
Yeah.
Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. Maybe it was
that's
it might have just been somebody from the Chanticleer who couldn't get credentialed.
and better safe than sorry in Rich Rod's view, I guess.
I guess. Well, I mean, here's the thing: it's a new coaching staff, new everything. You really don't know what you're going to get from Jacksonville State. So, I mean, I could certainly see if Stephen F. Austin really wants to win this football game, then maybe they might want to get a little sneak peek. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of nutty.
Speaking of the Gamecocks, Jacksonville State and South Carolina will play next year in the Battle of the Gamecocks.
All Gamecocks all the time, huh?
That's right. So we'll find out who the real Gamecocks are. Will the real Gamecocks please stand up?
Please stand up. Please stand up.
But speaking of the South Carolina Gamecocks, I'm really upset that we can't ask Teddy about yesterday's revelation.
Yeah,
from Shane Beamer.
Yeah, if I'd love to know if Shane Beamer still has Mark Stoops on his Christmas card list or not.
Probably not.
Now, my guess is no.
A football team, Mo, that has a lot of unique expectations. This is a team that last year was fairly decent. I mean, they were great, but considering that they were playing a grad assistant at quarterback, they didn't have a bad year. So we forgot about that, right?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Yeah, that was certainly one of the high notes of the opening portion of the season, for sure. So I hopefully, barring some type of injury, the quarterback situation should be a little bit better for South Carolina this time around.
Well, they return everybody but the quarterback on that side of the ball.
And
their quarterback is Spencer Rattler now.
Right. So
they've significantly improved their system.
I believe they have upgraded at that position. Yeah.
That's like getting lost in the woods and just building a house. It's severely improved my predicament. So
I guess if you can do that, yeah. Quite a house Spencer Rattler stands to be, I think. I mean,
sure.
This is a guy who this time a year ago was a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Yeah, I mean, he might have been the Heisman Trophy front
favorite.
last year at this time. So what I certainly don't think there's any Caleb Williamses lurking over his shoulder.
He ain't walking through that door, I don't think.
So, and if he does, he'll have the wrong USC on.
And I think probably Spencer Rattler and his people, because everybody has people nowadays, probably vetted that out pretty well before he decided to go over there. And now Shane Beamer was on the Oklahoma coaching staff during Rattler's time in Oklahoma. Is that right? Do I remember that correctly?
Correct.
So they've got a little bit of a background,
a little rapport.
And I'm sure that helps. But I'm intrigued by him.
Yeah, and when you add in Josh Vann, who had 43 catches last year, DeCarrion Joyner, and tight end Jaheim Bell, and then you've got Austin Stogner, who came with Rattler from Oklahoma to South Carolina. I mean, Antoine Wells from James Madison caught 116 balls and almost 2,000 yards and 21 touchdowns last year for Madison, for James Madison. So this is a team.
I tell you who's happiest about that is Middle Tennessee State.
I was about to say, yeah, Rick Stockstill's pretty excited to not have to deal with that guy.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, this is an offense that, despite being 111th in the country last year, certainly seems to have put themselves in a really, really good position, especially when you consider all 5 of your offensive linemen are back.
And Van and Bell are both third-team preseason All-SEC selections coming out of SEC Media Days. So, with that, and again, with Rattler, you got to feel pretty good about your potential for creating some offense.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and on the other side of the ball, they were 6th in the SEC last year, averaging 356 yards allowed and just 24 points a game. That's average. I mean, look, if you can have an average defense with a really good offense, then you're all right. If you can have an average offense with a really good defense, you're all right. South Carolina certainly seems like a team that could be really good or could be really bad, or they could just be average.
Well, again, the SEC media picked them to finish 5th in the Eastern Division, but they got 3 first-place votes. So, Fisher foul, who knows?
That's true. They did get picked to finish 5th, and you're right. One of the things about South Carolina is, again, they got 3 first-place votes because the potential is there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Spencer Rattler plays like he played 2 years ago at Oklahoma, I mean, you can't argue with that. But if he plays like he did last year against Kansas, then here we are.
We're never as bad as our worst moment, Chris.
It's not. You're not wrong. But you can't lose to the Kansases in the Big 12 and keep your job. And so that's what happened.
Well, unless you're Steve Sarkisian.
Well, there's that. But he wasn't the first Texas coach to lose to Kansas in the last 3 years either. So there's also that. But this, I mean, the ceiling is high, the floor is low, and I think they'll probably end up somewhere in the middle.
That's a Michael Jordan joke in there somewhere. I just can't find it.
Well, they did beat North Carolina in the bowl game last year. I don't know if that's
yeah. The ceiling is the roof. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just really intrigued by the South Carolina team again, just because of Spencer Rattler's presence there and what he can do in this offense with somebody who is familiar with him, who does trust him, and with some weapons already there. So I think this has got the potential to be a dangerous team. Like you said, they've still got some folks to climb over top of, because as we were talking to John Clay yesterday, Kentucky expects to be pretty good. They're returning experience at quarterback. Obviously, Georgia is the defending national champion, and we're going to talk tomorrow, hopefully, about Tennessee and the second year of Josh Heupel offense. If they take another step after what they did last year, goodness gracious, nobody's going to want to play them. So
I'm not sure if this is good or bad because you'll find out pretty early. You got to go to Arkansas September 10th. Then you come home for Georgia. Now, the positive is rarely do you have a lot of injuries and banged up players early in the season. So you kind of you give them your best shot early in the year. But these are two teams that if you end up, 1-2 going into Charlotte in, September 24th, and don't let Will Healy, smell blood because you never know. But
if you're South Carolina, though, you got to feel pretty good if you can just split those two games, right?
Yeah, if you win one of those, you're feeling really good about your year. Now you got to go to Kentucky, which is also that October 8th game, and you've got to go to the Swamp November 12th after maybe Billy Napier's had some time to fix some things. Then you get Tennessee at home before going to Clemson. This is not a rough schedule. Obviously, Arkansas and A&M being your cross-division rivals, that's tough.
Yeah, that's in terms of luck of the draw, South Carolina's wasn't great there.
And so, you're sitting in a situation where a lot of folks think you could win 7 games again, but you're going to have to beat 4, maybe 5 really good football teams, Arkansas, Georgia, Kentucky, A&M, and then Florida, Tennessee. I mean, again, floors low, ceilings high. This is a team that if they were to split those 6 games and go 3-3, I think South Carolina fans would be happy.
Yeah. Don't sleep on Georgia State either. I mean, they created some problems for another SEC East foe a few years back. So.
I don't think Jeremy Pruitt's walking through the door either.
They may have kind of lost their element of surprise with that one too. So.
There's that. Yeah. Well, I mean, some people thought Jacksonville State maybe lost their element of surprise and didn't stop them from beating Florida State last year.
In tally.
Albeit as lucky as it was.
Hey. Sometimes better be lucky than good. That's it. So yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, this is a football team that I'm curious to see what it ends up like. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't.
Well, I just think the SEC East as a whole, behind Georgia, I think you could throw Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, and maybe South Carolina into a bag and throw any and draw any of them out and come up with your division runner-up, possibly.
Sure, it's very. I absolutely think that's possible for sure. So you're right. I don't disagree with you there at all. So let's take a quick break and go to a little wild and wacky. Got time for maybe 1 or 2 things to talk about. So stick around here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We will be right back after this.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster.
Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Welcome back into Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. It's Wild and Wacky Wednesday, the weirdest and wildest news from across the world, Mo. We've made it through. It's been a tough day. But we've made it to Wild and Wacky. And I have to start with, I don't know if you've seen this or not. Dodge is getting rid of the Challenger and the Charger.
I did see something about that. A lot of military personnel a little touched by that one. Kind of a tear to the eye for a lot of those guys and ladies, I guess, because that seems to be the vehicle of choice for a lot of them,
and for all Alabama recruits,
which I don't understand. But
you couldn't afford nothing better than a Charger? Come on, Challenger.
I figure they'd all be in Benzes, right?
One would think. Well, I can't. Yeah. You can't do that because I mean, come on, that's a little too obvious.
Hey, in this age of NIL, I mean, why not?
Well, the weird thing is this.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to put out a Dodge Charger Daytona SRT, but it's going to be an electronic vehicle.
Oh.
It will be an electric vehicle, but here's the worst part. All that's bad as it is. They're going to use fake exhaust sound. I'm just not for this. I'm against this.
I mean, if you're electric, you're electric. Come on.
Be electric.
Yeah.
But when you drive off, don't give me some piped in noise like it's a COVID NFL game.
Like it's the Falcons at a COVID NFL game?
It's just not. I'm not here for that. So anyway,
and if you're buying an electric car, then just embrace it.
Exactly. We know what we're getting. You got to tell me nothing. It's fine. Whatever.
That's wild and wacky.
And wacky. Well, also wild and wacky. Florida man, 42-year-old, arrested at Walmart in Sebastian, Florida for shoplifting. But it's not that he was shoplifting. It's what he was shoplifting. That's correct. He was spotted in the store drinking a 6-pack of vodka beverages. So just walking around with a 6-pack.
Just walking around
with a 6-pack and just drinking. Yeah, I guess it's one of those mixed drinks already in a can, and he's just chugging, going through Walmart.
How far into the 6-pack did he get?
It says 1 half empty can, so I guess he was just half in.
Oh, he was just starting.
Well, he had 3 pairs of socks, a 375 milliliter bottle of McCormick vodka that was half empty, a pair of scissors, a pocket knife, and some other miscellaneous items. He said he stole the scissors to make sure he could get the tags off. At least, I mean,
he's a practical shoplifter.
I mean, at least he was logical about it. That's all I'm saying.
Hey.
I mean, it's smart.
I would imagine
the average shoplifter.
I would imagine they took the scissors away from him and the pocket knife before they put him where shoplifters go, right?
Oh, that's very possible. It's interesting. Look, I'm not going to just show off that I'm drinking in Walmart. That's the problem here. If he'd have just walked around with his cans and a 6-pack and, maybe bought that 6-pack before he walked out, he probably gets off scot-free. Man.
Got to be smarter than that. But
as smart as he was, he could have been smarter.
Well,
That's the
But
unfortunate part.
it is Florida Man, though. So
It is Florida Man, and that's what you get when you get Florida Man.
Absolutely.
Mo, let's get out of here. It's Wednesday. We've got a big day tomorrow because we have from Off the Hook Sports. It's
Amanda LaFrada.
Amanda LaFrada. I couldn't think of her first name because I was trying to remember how to say her last name and then forgot her first name.
Yeah.
So, that's how it goes. And we also have, of course, Engel Martin from CPA joining us on Coach's Corner. And we'll hand out our first In to Win Life Southern Middle Tennessee Team of the Week and MTBJ Southern Middle Tennessee Athlete of the Week. So, should be a lot going on. Last time I checked, it was 9-0 Hawaii. I haven't seen an update since.
13.
Is it 13? I don't think this
13.
one's going to.
Yeah, so
It may not get to 6.
Not real sure what kind of mood Engel's going to be in when we get him.
Well, that's right. They'll be playing Thursday. Yeah, they play they play that losers bracket finals game tomorrow. So that's it for today. We'll get out of here. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, 2 o'clock on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint.